I used to be the guy who said yes to everything. Helping people move? Yes. Covering a coworker's shift? Sure. Lending money I didn't have to friends who mysteriously vanished afterward? Oh, you bet. It was like I was allergic to the word no, and trust me, my family knew it. Especially my mom. Danny's the good one, she'd always say, patting me on the back like I was a golden retriever. He never complains. That was my role, dependable, quiet, and perpetually exhausted. It got really bad around the time my dad passed. Suddenly, my mom couldn't lift a finger without calling me. Mow the lawn. Fix the faucet. Handle the mortgage paperwork. Drive her to church, bingo, her hair appointments, and God help me, her weekly bridge club. I didn't mind at first. It felt like the right thing to do. But then my brother Scott started calling me too. At first it was little things, hey, can you help me paint the nursery? Watch my kids while I run errands? Spot me $200 until Friday? Friday never came. That $200? Became $600. And still, I smiled, nodded, and said, of course. Then came the Christmas. We were at Mom's house. Scott's kids were tearing into presents, my sister-in-law Becca was filming everything like they were the damn Kardashians, and I was sitting there with a mug of lukewarm cider, half wrapped in a throw blanket I brought myself. That's when Mom says, I think next year we should all go to Disney together. Now, I knew what was coming. She met everyone, her, Scott, Becca, the kids. And guess who she expected to foot the bill? Before I could say a word, Scott claps his hands together like a child. That would be awesome. Right, Danny? You've got the savings. I blinked. I had the savings all right. For a down payment. On a tiny, beat-up condo I'd been eyeballing for over a year. I'd been saving every penny, eating ramen, skipping vacations, grinding my teeth every time I opened another bill. And now they were planning a trip to Disney, on my dime. I didn't say anything. I just smiled. Yeah, I said. We'll see. But something cracked that night. I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, the soft hum of my mom's old HVAC unit echoing in the walls. My body was tired, but my brain was screaming. Why was I always the one bending? Why was it my job to keep the family together, keep the peace, carry the weight, and ask for nothing? The next day, I told my mom I wouldn't be coming over every weekend anymore. She blinked. What do you mean? I said, I'm tired. I need time for me. She frowned like I'd slapped her. Well, Scott's busy with the kids. So am I said. I'm busy with my life. Her mouth opened and closed like a guppy. That was the first time I'd ever said no to her. Ever. The fallout came fast. Scott texted me that night, dude, what's up with you? Mom's upset. I didn't respond. The next week, Becca posted some vague Facebook status about people who abandon family, and my aunt commented something passive-aggressive about how not all heroes wear capes. I saw it. Ignored it. Turned off notifications. You know what I did instead? I slept in. I took myself out to breakfast. I toured that condo. It was small. Old. But it was mine. A week later, I made an offer. They accepted. 2 months later, I moved in. No housewarming party. No family visit. No casseroles. Just me and a six-pack of beer in an empty living room, watching my favorite movie on a $99 TV from Walmart. And I'd never felt more at peace. But peace, I learned, doesn't mean immunity from drama. It just means you're no longer contractually obligated to participate. Because that's when the bombshell dropped. Scott lost his job. And suddenly, everybody remembered I existed again. So Scott loses his job. Apparently, there was some kind of incident at work, something about a screaming match with his supervisor and a mysterious disappearing laptop. The details were fuzzy. All I knew was the man who once laughed at me for living like a hermit was suddenly begging for help. It started with a text. Scott, hey man, any chance you can cover our utilities this month? It's just temporary. I stared at the message for a good 5 minutes. Not because I was shocked, I wasn't. But because I was already doing the math in my head. Becca didn't work. They had 2 kids. He had no savings, of course not. He'd been spending like his credit cards came with cheat codes. Now, they were sinking. And guess who was supposed to throw them a lifeline? Me. But I didn't respond. Not that day. Not the next. A few days later, he called. I didn't pick up. He left a voicemail that started friendly and ended with a tone I hadn't heard since we were teenagers fighting over the Nintendo. Real cool, Danny. Hope your big lonely condo keeps you warm at night. That one stuck with me. Big lonely condo. I won't lie. Some nights were quiet. Too quiet. I'd sit on my hand-me-down couch, microwave dinner in my lap, and wonder maybe they were right. Maybe I was being selfish. Maybe I should just go back. Play nice. Be the dependable one again. But then I remembered something. The last time I said yes to everything, I was 37, broke, single, burnt out, and one bad week away from a total breakdown. This was better. So I stuck to my guns. That's when Mom came knocking. Literally. I opened the door one Saturday morning to find her standing there with a Tupperware dish in one hand and guilt in the other. Thought I'd bring you lasagna. Hey, Mom. I stepped aside. She walked in like she still owned the place. The visit started like usual, small talk, awkward compliments about how I'd done well for myself. Then she dropped the act. Your brother's struggling, Daniel. There it was. The pitch. I know, I said flatly. He's got 2 little kids. So do a lot of people. She blinked, not used to the cold. You don't understand how hard it is for him right now. I do, actually. I just don't think it's my job to fix it anymore. That hit her hard. She set the lasagna down and turned to me, her face a mix of confusion and disappointment. This isn't you. And that was it. That was the phrase that unlocked something in me. I stepped back, crossed my arms, and said, No, Mom. This is me. You just don't recognize it because this version doesn't roll over. She stared at me like I was speaking a foreign language. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't yell. I just stood my ground while my mother, for the first time in her life, realized I was no longer her fallback plan. She left in tears. The next week, Scott posted on Facebook a long-winded, passive-aggressive reflection about how some people turn their backs when you need them most. He even tagged me. Like a child tattling to the internet. I didn't respond. I didn't even remove the tag. Instead, I posted a photo of my new balcony garden. Just a simple caption, water what grows you back. That's when things took a turn. Becca messaged me. Hey. I know things are rough right now. But the kids miss their uncle. I didn't respond. Because here's the thing, you don't get to use your children as bait. Not after calling me selfish, not after expecting me to sacrifice everything so you can keep pretending everything's fine. It was radio silence for a while after that. Until the foreclosure notice hit. Not mine, Scott's. Yup. They were losing the house. And that's when the nuclear bomb hit. Mom moved in with me. Let me rewind a sec. It's late summer. I'm in my little condo, finally starting to enjoy the quiet. I've got a balcony garden thriving, I'm learning how to cook something besides pasta, and I even signed up for a damn pottery class like I'm some kind of midlife reboot montage. Then I get the knock. It's Mom again. Same Tupperware dish, same sweet smile. But this time, something's off. Can I come in, she says. She looks tired. Really tired. Makeup half done, hair thrown up like she hadn't slept. I let her in. She sits down without even waiting, and before I can ask what's wrong, she blurts it out. They're losing the house. Boom. I mean, I knew Scott wasn't doing well. But I didn't know it was this bad. Apparently, he'd stopped paying the mortgage months ago. Becca was selling furniture on Facebook Marketplace. The kids had started asking questions like, why are there so many envelopes on the counter, Mommy? And instead of telling them the truth, that they'd spent themselves into a financial black hole, they decided to play the victim. But here's the kicker. Mom? She co-signed the mortgage. I swear to God, I felt my soul briefly leave my body. You what? I just wanted to help them get started, she cried. It was years ago. I didn't think. And now the bank was knocking on her door too. Except her door was a rental. She had no assets. No backup plan. And when I asked what she planned to do next, she just looked at me. "Oh no," I said. "You're not staying here." She blinked. "Daniel. I don't have space. You have a second bedroom. For my office. It has a bed." And that was how, 48 hours later, my mother moved in with me. No rent. No plan. Just 2 suitcases and a whole lot of judgment. It started small. She complained about my coffee. Said my living room didn't feel homey. She offered to help with cleaning, then rearranged my entire pantry. But the worst part? She brought the guilt. Every night it was something new. "Scott's trying, you know. He's so stressed. Becca's just overwhelmed." And every night, I nodded. Silent. Boiling. Then one morning, I wake up to a pot of coffee already brewed, and Mom smiling at me like a cat that just ate a canary. "Scott's coming by today." I nearly choked on my toast. "Excuse me?" "He just needs to pick up a few things from storage." I told him he could stop here. "Maybe stay for lunch." I laughed. Out loud. "Absolutely not." Her smile froze. "He's your brother." "He's a leech," I snapped. "And I'm not a damn drive-through." We fought. It got ugly. Years of resentment, hers, mine, his, it all came pouring out. She accused me of being heartless. I told her she was an enabler. She threatened to leave, and I said, "Go ahead." She didn't. But from that point on, it was war. She made passive-aggressive comments about how nice it must be to live alone with no responsibilities. She guilt-tripped me for going out with friends. She left little reminders of Scott everywhere, framed photos on the shelves, old drawings from the kids on the fridge. It was like my condo had been turned into a shrine to the people who walked all over me. Then, one night, I come home from work to find the living room packed. Scott. Becca. The kids. Pizza boxes on my coffee table. A freaking air mattress in my hallway. "What the hell is this?" Becca looks up like a deer in headlights. "Your mom said it was okay." My mom stands behind her, arms crossed. They had nowhere else to go. And I snapped. "Get out." Everyone froze. The kids started crying. Becca tried to calm them. Scott stood up, puffing his chest like we were in high school again. "You don't have to yell." "Like hell I don't," I growled. "You show up uninvited, you dump your mess in my lap, and you expect me to roll over like always?" "Not this time." He scoffed. "Wow. You really have changed." "Good." They left that night. All of them. Mom included. She slammed the door behind her with one last gem. "You'll regret this." But here's the thing. I didn't. For the first time in my life, I wasn't the one bending. I wasn't the one cleaning up someone else's disaster. I was the one drawing the line. And it felt damn good. So, after I kicked them out, Mom, Scott, Becca, and the whole guilt parade, my condo felt quiet again. Blessedly quiet. I had my office back. I could breathe. I started sleeping better, eating better, smiling more. Friends said I looked younger. Lighter. But of course, peace is never permanent when you've got family like mine. It started subtle. Phone calls I didn't answer. Voicemails I didn't listen to. Facebook posts that were obviously about me, even if they didn't mention my name. Things like, "Funny how some people turn their back on blood but cry when they're left alone." Or, "Just because someone sets boundaries doesn't mean they aren't a narcissist in disguise." Yeah. That level of petty. Then came the big one. My cousin, Jess, who I hadn't seen in years, calls me out of nowhere. "Hey, just thought you should know. Your mom and Scott are telling people you kicked them out while they were homeless." I blinked. They were homeless. And I housed Mom for a month. She sighed. "I know. But they're painting a different picture." Apparently, they were telling extended family that I'd changed, that I'd become cold and unrecognizable. That I was hoarding money, living in luxury, and letting my own flesh and blood suffer while I dined on steak and caviar. The kicker? They even claimed I had manipulated our parents' wills. My jaw dropped. Manipulated? They're still alive. Jess laughed. I know. It's insane. But people are eating it up. And then came the cherry on top. A GoFundMe. Yup. Scott and Becca started a GoFundMe. Title: Help Us Rebuild After Family Betrayal. It was real. Public. Full of half-truths, melodramatic sob stories, and surprise. Zero mention of how they'd burned through jobs, credit cards, and sympathy long before I said no. I read the whole thing twice, laughing harder each time. They even uploaded a photo of their kids looking all sad in a motel room. I'll admit, for a split second, I wondered if I was the bad guy. Then I remembered the night they turned my home into a damn motel without asking. The years of emotional blackmail. The way I lost myself in trying to keep everyone else afloat. No. I wasn't the villain. I was just finally done playing the fool. But I wasn't done yet. So I made a move I never thought I'd make. I wrote a post. Not to clap back. Not to defend myself. But to tell the truth. For years, I was the one who always said yes. Covered bills. Gave rides. Paid for birthdays I wasn't invited to. Took care of a family who never once asked how I was doing. When I stopped saying yes, I became the villain in a story I never wrote. But here's the thing, I didn't betray anyone. I just stopped betraying myself. I didn't tag anyone. Didn't name names. But it blew up. Friends, coworkers, even old high school classmates chimed in with support. DMs rolled in from people who said they were going through the same thing. One guy said, "Dude. This post made me cancel my weekend with my toxic brother. Thank you. It felt like I'd taken a 100-pound weight off my chest and set it down on the internet for the world to see." Then the GoFundMe disappeared. No explanation. No apology. Just poof. A week later, I got a text from Becca. "We saw your post. You made your point. That was it. No apology. No ownership. Just a passive-aggressive tap-out. Good. I didn't want to fight. I wanted freedom. And I finally had it." Months passed. And for the first time in my adult life, nothing went wrong. I slept well. I ate better. I made friends who didn't want anything from me. I started dating, slowly, awkwardly, but honestly. And I didn't feel the need to explain myself to anyone. My world was smaller, but it was clean. Peaceful. Mine. Then came the letter. A real one. In an envelope. No return address. I opened it, already knowing. It was from my mom. The handwriting looked tired. Shaky. "Dear Danny, I've had time to think. I realize I haven't been fair to you. I leaned on you too much, expected too much, and gave too little in return. Scott, he's not in a good place. Neither am I. But I want to make peace before it's too late. If you ever want to talk, I'll be here. No expectations. Just your mom." I stared at the page, heart heavy. Not angry. Just tired. That night, I didn't sleep much. I sat out on my balcony with a blanket and a beer, watching the city lights blink like static. Thinking. She'd been selfish. Manipulative. But she was also human. And for all the guilt, the gaslighting, the games, she was also the one who used to hold me when I had night terrors, who saved every report card, who knew my favorite cereal. Could people change? Could she? I didn't know. But I texted her the next day. "We can talk." One conversation. That's it. She called that night. We talked. It was awkward. Stiff. But honest. She cried. I didn't. She apologized again. Said she was in therapy now. Said she was trying to deprogram herself. I believed her. Mostly. Scott, on the other hand? Still lost. Still angry. still telling anyone who'd listen that I was the reason the family fell apart. And for the first time, I didn't care. He could shout into the void all he wanted. I was done being the echo. Because here's what happened next. I got promoted. Yup. Big one. Corner office, team under me, salary that made me laugh out loud when I saw the number. It came with pressure, sure, but it also came with something I hadn't had in years. Control. I bought a new place. Not flashy, just solid. A backyard. A grill. A hammock under a maple tree I named Marvin. And one sunny weekend, while flipping burgers for a few friends, I caught myself smiling so hard my cheeks hurt. This was it. Not money. Not revenge. Peace. The kind you earn. The kind you protect. And then? Out of nowhere. Scott showed up. I was on the porch, drink in hand, Marvin swaying in the breeze, when a car pulled up. Beat up Honda. Door barely hanging on. He stepped out. Same posture. Same entitled walk. I didn't say a word. He came up the steps. Looked older. Worn. But not wiser. I heard, he said. I raised an eyebrow. Heard what? That you made it. I stayed quiet. He looked around, taking in the house, the yard, the people laughing behind me. Must be nice, he said, like it was an accusation. It is. A beat. Then another. He sighed. I need help. And I did the unthinkable. I smiled. Big, warm, peaceful. I hope you find it, I said. But it won't be from me. His face cracked. Seriously? Dead serious. But you have everything now. Exactly, I said. Because I stopped giving it to people who didn't earn it. And then I did what I should have done years ago. I walked inside, closed the door behind me, and left him standing there. Because I didn't owe him a damn thing. Not anymore.